Alright, so after having this bracket dangling down with the light attached since I didn't know where it went, started looking and thought I saw something, so I gave it a good yank. And it was not connected to anything, it was just stuffed down in there. So that's awesome. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to route the wires for this and get it all tucked in nice and get it wired up. Shouldn't be that big of a deal, but yeah, just another fun thing to do. I do have the S-Pod in place. I haven't hooked it up to the battery yet because there's plenty of wires I'm chasing down here. So I think at this point it's just a matter of trying to figure out what's connected, what's not, what I'm running things to, and laying everything out, and then I can start buttoning everything up and wire it all up at one time. So definitely making some progress. It's kind of slow going, but you know, it is what it is. So we'll get it done, and it's going to be nice when it is. So looking forward to it. All right, so I've built my wiring harness for the ditch lights that were already on here that weren't plugged into anything. So I've just got them kind of mocked up here right now. Nothing's secured. I'm just kind of testing things out. I did go ahead and connect the S-Pod for now. I've got, you know, tons of cleanup to do on the wiring and everything, but right now I'm just kind of trying to get everything laid out and test everything. So I've got the wiring harness that I built hooked up to the S-Pod. I've got the lights hooked up on their brackets. Brackets obviously are not in place. Let's go ahead and get this thing fired up and see if we've got working lights. Look at that. Sweet, they work. I'm super excited about that. I have no idea how long they have been mounted on there, disconnected with the wires exposed, so I wasn't sure how everything's going to work, to be honest with you. So I'm super excited that those are in working order, and now I can move on with the rest of the project here. So I got plenty more lights to do. I plugged those into switch 4. I don't know that that's what I'm going to have them going to yet or not, but we'll make that decision here soon. So I think the next thing up is I'm going to build a wiring harness for the A-pillar lights that I'm going to put on, get that figured out, and we'll go from there. So for the new A-pillar lights, I've decided to go with the KC Flex Era 4s with the combo lens on it. So we're going to get this unboxed and start figuring out what we got to do to wire them up. Yeah, I definitely think these are going to be pretty sweet on those A-pillars. I do have red bezels to replace these gold ones, so it matches up with the rest of the Jeep a little bit better with all the red accents. So super excited about these. Looks like we've got some decent pigtails going on here to be able to connect them in. These should be pretty sweet. So let's get started on installing these and see if we can get this buttoned up and put back together here pretty soon. Now KC does a really good job of providing you with a really complete wiring harness. And these lights are a little bit unique in that it has an amber back glow option for it. So you've actually got 3 wires coming out of each of these lights. You've got your ground, your power for the amber, and your power for the main light. Problem is I don't know exactly which one is which. The black is obviously ground. I believe the red is the power for the main light, and then the white is the power for the amber back glow. And since we're connecting this to an S-Pod, we don't need the entire wiring harness and all the relays and everything else. I believe from my previous experience with some similar KC lights that had the back glow that I can hook up the back glow to a separate switch and have them run off of that. So I'm going to test that out. I've taken just one part of the wiring harness and connected it to the S-Pod, and I'm going to try it out now. So there is the main light functioning on switch 1. And on switch 2, I've got the amber back glow. All right, so what I did to achieve this is on one of the switches, I hooked up the power, which is the red wire for the main light, the ground to the ground on that same circuit, and then the white, which is for the amber back glow, I hooked up to a separate switch. Now, I've got some other KC lights that have that amber back glow, so I'm going to tie all of those in together. So when I hit that one switch, all of the amber back glow will be on that same switch on all of the lights that have that available to them. So now we just got to get started on actually wiring this up the way we want it. Well, this has certainly been a lot of work so far, but I definitely think it's going to be worth it. Really happy so far with the way that this is coming out. Having the ditch lights up and running is phenomenal. The new A-pillar lights with the amber glow is awesome. I've got the S-Pod installed. Got some more work to do, so let's keep on going. I know there's a lot of people out there that talk crap about people doing lights before lockers. What do you think about lights that aren't even hooked up? What's the point of that? Oh well. Now for the front bumper, I decided to go with the KC HiLites Flex Era 3 dual mode. These things are pretty cool. They have two settings. A little bit different than the Flex Era 4s that we put on. The two settings are actually a SAE street legal fog light, and then the second mode is your off-road version. So kind of nice to be able to have the ability to use this as a normal everyday fog light, especially since this bumper doesn't have any kind of fog light provisions in it. So get these installed on the bumper here. Super excited to see how this turns out. All right, so with the Flex Era 3 dual modes, it's very similar to the Flex Era 4s. It doesn't have the amber backlight like the Flex Era 4s, but it's still a 3-wire system. So I cut apart one of the looms on the wiring harness and got my 3 wires. Black is obviously ground. Red is for the off-road mode, and white is for the SAE fog light mode. So we'll set those up on different switches. We're going to do the off-road mode to switch 6 and the on-road SAE mode to switch 5. So they'll be side by side, and I can switch between on-road, off-road as I desire. So now I just got to create the wiring loom and we'll be all set. Now the Flex Era 3 dual modes that we put on the front bumper also come with an amber lens if you wish to use it. All right, so we got the KC HiLites Flex Era 3 dual modes mounted up, wired up, ready to go on the front bumper of the JL. Got the red bezels put on, the amber lenses. This thing's going to be pretty sweet. I'm super excited about this. I do still have a lot more to do to this thing, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and a lot more to come on this thing. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Second Chance Overland.